to another episode of Lies My Vagina Told Me. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat. You know my next guest as Penny Widmore on Lost and as the fierce Molly Cobb on For All Mankind. But I first knew her on our HBO show, Mind of the Married Man, where this barely spelling Canadian fell hopelessly in awe with a brilliant British Argentinian intellect who studied literature at Oxford. And since then, she's not only become one of the most compelling actresses working today, she's become one of my favorite writers. Her debut novel, Lion, is exquisite and wrecked me in the best way possible, and her latest, Wifehouse, is equally mesmerizing. Please welcome my wildly talented, intimidatingly brilliant, and deeply beloved friend, Miss Sonya Walger. Yay! I did it!
Thank you. You did it. You got through it. And I wish you would just launch me into every room I ever walk into.
Right? I can just come to auditions with you and meetings and just say, this is how fucking brilliant my amazing friend is. Thank you so much for doing this podcast.
Yes,
I'm so proud of you on every fucking level. Every level. And, you know, I want to talk, of course, we're here to talk about these amazing novels that you've written, but to sum up what was going on after we did Mind of the Married Man many years ago, I went off to make my TV show G-Spot for roughly my 7 Canadian cousins, and you went off to do some of the most fucking iconic television in the world, culminating, do I have this right, with your episode of Lost, The Constants, being voted one of the greatest scenes in television history? What?
Yeah, no, this is an impossible thing. But listen, I love a list if I'm number one on it. So
Me too.
Otherwise I hate lists and they're so absurd and ridiculous, and who would make a list? Nevertheless, when you are number one on the list, you grow to love that list. So yes, Vulture, God bless them, made a list of the 100 best episodes of television ever. And I say my episode because it's a two-hander, so I have to say my episode. Our episode of Lost is number one. The Constant is the number one.
But like over and over for years.
Yes, it keeps coming up. Anyway, listen, let's not say it too loudly because they'll definitely rewrite the list and something will go. So
I mean, I'm on some lists. But that is not one of them. That is not one of them. Okay. And then let's just talk for a second about fucking Molly Cobbs. You know, I was rewatching some scenes last night. She's just so brilliant and badass. Did you love making that show? Was it crazy difficult?
Love that show. That show was an absolute career highlight. I mean, to get to play the first woman on the moon, like, I feel a little bit as though I actually was the first woman on the moon.
Yeah. Just because you're that good. You're that good.
Really? So, you know, the fact that we've only put 16 white men up there, but that there have been no women, I just felt like, sure, I'll be the first woman. So yeah, I loved that role. There was a time where I was swinging from a rope at the top of a 60-foot polystyrene moon crater, and I was tired, and I'm sitting on a rope, and I'm sitting on a stool that isn't really a stool. It's like a pen with a small cushion balanced off it.
Yes.
And there's no getting me so much as, you know, a protein bar up there because I'm so high up. And I just had someone said something like, did you ever imagine yourself doing this? And I was like, dude, you know what I'm not? I'm not in a pencil skirt with a clipboard asking someone how they died. Like, I'm not at the bottom of the stairs yelling up as a soccer mom to see if my kid's late for school. I'm playing the first woman on the moon. I am just so happy right now.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah. And I've been rewatching it, and it just holds up. As it was so shocking and amazing. I remember like the twist in the pilot, and it just was so absolutely incredible. I mean, you've really gotten to play a lot of amazing roles since we left the set of Mind of the Married Man. I must say, I loved Mind of the Married Man.
Me too.
I mean, I love the experience. I made great friends out of it. And it prompted me to write my show because it was my first comedy because nobody fucking thought I was funny. I was like raped, bludgeoned, and killed in everything I've ever done. And somebody said, you're funny. And then the entire time I just cried. with good hair. And I thought, I think I can fucking write something a little better for myself than this. So it did inspire me. And I bumped into Taylor Nichols. I bumped into him. He was in a friend's short the other day, and he sends his love. He asked about you, and I told him that you're the most brilliant writer on planet Earth. I want to say one thing. Between all these TV shows, and then when you started writing, you, in fact, yourself had your own podcast called Bookish, right? And I'd love to hear about it. I want to know if you used it in the same way that I'm using this to completely avoid writing my book. That this is more to putting it off a little bit longer.
Yes.
Same title.
It wasn't conscious. I didn't consciously do it for that. I did it because basically I couldn't believe that I'd married someone that didn't read. It was really that. It was just, I looked across at my wonderful, amazing husband and was like, Jit, you don't read books. This is awful. Like,
because he's too busy writing hit television shows. That does happen to the brain.
No. Listen, there's no judgment. He just doesn't. I don't play instruments, and he's an amazing musician. Like, we all made our trade-offs.
Yeah, that our thing.
But yeah, I just missed having someone to talk to about great books. And so I invented Bookish, where I talked to people about the 5 books that had influenced them most. Not their favorite ones, not the ones they always recommend, but the ones that were like, that had changed them in some seminal way. So it was really fun. It became a kind of stealth way to talk to people about their lives, because invariably people picked books from different moments in their lives. So it was this completely underhand sort of biography show, but it was amazing. I loved it. And like you, I discovered very quickly how much work it is, because you got to procure all the guests. You got to, in my case, you got to read the books. So that
you got to read the books.
You got to chase up with their agents and their assistants and their managers. And did they get the link? And I know, baby.
It's really like, I thought this would be easier than television production. I'm not sure it is.
Nope.
I'm not sure it is.
Nope.
But I am enjoying it. And I do get to read people's amazing books. And I will say, I read books, but I had an issue finishing books. Even if I love them, I think I don't like endings or something. And I have a very distracted brain lately. And Lion, your first novel, I want to say, when you gave it to me, I think I read it in a night and a half. I was so madly in love with this book. Please tell me, like, from Bookish to working on all these shows, that's my dog barking. Delilah, mommy making history. From Bookish to working on all these iconic TV shows, what did it take to sit tush in chair and actually start this book?
It took a global pandemic. So if you just sit tight and wait for another one of those.
One coming back around any minute now. Fuck, really?
Yeah, it did. It took, well, I suppose, heartbreakingly, it took my dad dying and all the stories that my dad represented and lived that were so insane and so outlandish and so, iconic and extraordinary. It took him dying and me realizing that my children, who were very young at the time, were never going to know their grandfather, and that they really weren't going to know these stories, because my memory is so fucking terrible that I was lucky that I was going to remember like 4 of them, and there were so many. So I'd already sort of thought, I really need to write Papa down for Billy and Jake to have him. And so I scribbled some stuff, and then I am a really big journal keeper. So I'd kept all these journals over the years, and then COVID came and there was nothing else to do. It was that or scream at my children some more. And so I was like, okay, let's stop with the screaming at my children. In the afternoons, everyone gets a break. You guys can watch TV till your eyes bleed, and I will try writing this book. And so it began with that. I went to my old journals. I started sort of harvesting them. I started writing down what I could remember. And then I started incorporating what it was to sort of be in this strange moment in time where all we had was each other. Well, all we had were these conversations, either with ourselves or with, in my case, my mum on the phone, or with my past self, sort of revisiting these journals. So I just sort of started feeling like if we only had, we just had this time that all we had really were conversations, and we either had long and involved conversations with our friends, or not either. We all did, I think, or with our family, and I did all of that and revisited my sort of past self in my journals, and from all of that emerged Lion. And so when it was done, I felt like, well, I did what I set out to do. I wrote a thing that my children one day maybe will have as this memory of him, but also a snapshot of who their mother was at this moment, and
absolutely.
why I am the mother I am because of the way I was parented to some degree. So, anyway, that was the birth of Lion, and it really was. I've said this before, but I really mean it. You know, if Lion had ended up being just a Word document on my desktop, I was okay with that. I really was. I did it.
I understand that. I had such a connection to this book because it's based on your brilliant father, larger than life father, that I was lucky enough to meet in this lifetime. Because you and I were planning a trip to Argentina, and then you got a job, and I went by myself, and you had your entire Argentinian family come take care of me and engulf me in love and ice cream and French fries and trips, and I got to meet your papa before he passed, not too long before he passed. And he was everything you described, and so charming and so beautiful. I mean, he was a skydiver, a race car driver, a bon vivant, a playboy. He was an everything. And I had been hearing stories and hearing stories and hearing stories, and then to get to meet him along with the rest of the family, because the way they do it in Argentina, I've never seen it anywhere. When I would meet one of your cousins for lunch, 14 people showed up. And it was a 9-hour lunch, and there was always ice cream. Who knew? Holy fuck. It was one of the greatest trips that I had taken. And so when I read this book, because I felt so part of it, because I knew your stories from that time of growing up. And then I knew you many years ago. And I wept. I loved every second of it. And then lo and behold, she writes this other book. And it's not based on anybody I know. You have come up with this story. And I thought, will I be pulled into it the same way? Because I felt like a part of the other one. And it was, tell our audience what Wifehouse is about, because it was absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Wifehouse is pure fiction. It was inspired by two friends, but it's a work of complete fiction. It's about a woman who is married with 2 children and lives upstate rural Connecticut, and she's Australian. And she has been in this marriage and in this family for a long time. And she starts an affair, and it is the evolution of this woman and this affair, and it is the dissolution of a family. It takes place in the space of a calendar year, so you begin on Christmas Day and you end the following Christmas Day. There are parallels that I won't ruin for people as to what happens and where she begins and where she ends. But in essence, what I wanted to do was look at why a woman might leave her family, choose to leave. I think we are conditioned and used to talking about men do it.
Men do it, exactly.
And men do it, and we roll our eyes and we call it a midlife crisis. And women do it, and they leave their children, and it is an act that goes against nature. And we, historically through literature, we have punished our women who've done this. Madame Bovary, takes arsenic, and Anna Karenina jumps in front of a train. Sorry, these are spoilers for you. But these are like Nora in a Doll's House is banished from society. Like over and over and over, these women are not allowed to continue existing after they make a choice like this. So I wanted to write a book that took this incredibly difficult decision and looked at it from all the points of view. So the book is told from everyone's point of view. Each chapter moves you through another perspective. So you're with the wife, the husband, the lover, the children, the best friend. You keep moving through time and you keep holding this prism up and just shifting it a little bit.
That was what was so extraordinary, is seeing it from, I've never seen a book like that, seeing it from every single person, including the young children's point of view and the lover's point of view and the husband's point of view. It's and the friends, because everybody's affected in some. I've been through things where friends have divorced and one had an affair and we knew about it, and it's so difficult for the friends too, because you have to fucking choose. But I'll tell you something, like, look, I think about leaving this Hollywood Hills life and starting all again and not leaving a forwarding address somewhere in Italy. I think a lot of women fantasize about just starting all over.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just have a hairy child that came out of my uterus, but much harder when you actually have the real children. But I think this book is going to make women just really fucking think about it, because many struggle with not changing their lives when they need to. But it's I mean, because I know you have this blessed, gorgeous, amazing family, and to come up with that sort of subject matter, I guess it had to do with your father was not there all the time, but he was fabulous and amazing and was given sort of granted permission to just go off and be that person, and women never are.
Yeah.
Always different.
Yeah, totally. And, I think it's weird. I was deep into book 2 before I realized that I was yet again writing a book about a parent who leaves. Like, I hadn't
made the connection.
No, hadn't realized. And I think in some way needed to write the counterpart to it. And it wasn't conscious at all.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it really, really wasn't. But I look back and I think, oh, wow, yeah, I guess that was the ballast that I had to do in order to balance this thing out.
When does this book come out? It's very soon. Is it April 7th?
7th, yeah.
April 7th. So we're catching you a week before so that everybody can go run and get this book. And, in the world of all the things that you do, is there one, like, if you could just write, I know you're starting to work on a third, correct? Oh my God, you're so ahead of me. I am giving away all my funny stories for free. I don't know if that was a good idea, but it's incredible. It's incredible, because I've been in a memoir class because I want to write a funny memoir. This is really just what this is. This is in podcast form.
This is it. It's fantastic. And
this is it. It's also my line of Spanx. If I get lucky,
ChatGPT just write you the transcript and then you start editing. That's how you're going to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Thank you.
Save yourself typing. Save yourself the typing. Get ChatGPT to write you the transcript of every single one of these episodes, and then you start editing. You pull out your guests, and you go back in for you, and with a highlighter, you're going to start doing it.
All my stories.
Start harvesting your own thoughts, because you've already laid half of them out, and you're too hilarious and too great. So that's how you're going to begin it, and then you're going to thank me in the afterward.
I will, because they can probably spell a lot better than me.
Yes,
I blame my Czechoslovakian parents. there were no vowels. Thank you. Look at you, constantly giving lessons. Okay, but do you still want to do it all? Do you still have the fantasy to do it all? Because I want to write a book and then save some zebras and take them to a villa. I'm good with that. But do you still want to act? And do you still want to,
I mean, I feel about the acting thing, it just feels like, sure, if you want to come and find me and dust me off and wheel me out somewhere within a 25-mile radius of Los Angeles,
yeah,
I'm available for that.
Yeah.
Do I want to jump through all the hoops and tape and stand on a hill and throw it into the darkness and never hear from it again? I do not. I do not miss it. I don't at all. I mean, I really do look back feeling like, if Molly Cobb was my last role, I went out up and high. It's kind of downhill from being a person.
Well, my high, I was 20 and it was Scorsese, and it was downhill from there. So, but Molly Cobb's, I mean, like, I do too. I mean, I feel like, again, if it happens, great. I get asked all the time and then they fall apart or whatever. And I'm not sure how lighting is going to work at 58 and a half. I left acting at 41. Seemed like a really good idea. I'm like, really? You did it then, but I really do. I think podcast is a lot of work, but I am fascinated by it. I recently had a pitch. I used to pitch 10 times a week for television, and this podcast is also like, TV development is very fucking different than it used to be. It's so long. You can grow a third tit. It just takes forever. And I had a pitch and I hadn't had one almost in a year. And the difference was, I was on with somebody from Hulu. They were like, I watched 4 of your podcasts right before the pitch. So there's something like, because they always go, what you been doing and where have you been? And it's like, I've been walking my dog around a mountain. And so there's something very immediate about it. Like if they want to know what you look like or sound like or what your sense of humor is like. So I do find it interesting. All the books I've read from the people that have come on, so fascinating. And I'm learning, like, look what I learned from you today. That doesn't intimidate me. I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that. I went for the first time because I was not emotionally prepared. I went recently for the first time for a drive through the Palisades and through Malibu. And it's already, I know, on the upswing, and it's green and it's coming back. But I wept. And I don't know many people who have lost everything, but I went to your book reading of Lion, and it had just sort of happened a few months before.
3 weeks before.
It's like, I might start crying. 3 weeks before, and I've been to this beautiful home that you made with your husband. Nothing left. You lost it.
Mm. Yeah.
What does it teach you? Because I'll tell you, I was in Venice, Italy, with my dog, as one is, when the fires started. And I was so panicked. I was getting calls from people evacuating that I had left my cell phone in the Uber. So I went to Italy without a cell phone, which might be the greatest thing you could
ever.
do.
Yeah, amazing.
Right. And my best friend was at the house, and he said, we're going to have to evacuate. At one point, they thought Laurel Canyon would evacuate. And he said, what do I get? What do I grab? What do you want? And I'm a big collector, and I have a first dib addiction. And I thought, my mom's scarf. It came down to the simplest thing of our history and comfort. It wasn't any fucking piece of art, or it wasn't any of that. Mm. And so how do you survive and thrive something like this? I mean, your journals, did your journals burn?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank God it was already.
Thank God I'd already made Lion, because otherwise Lion would be 11 pages long.
Because that's what you would have remembered. Yeah. I understand.
I know in the very immediate thing, and the thing of, what we said to the children the next day when we had to tell them that the house was gone, we all got into one bed in the hotel room, and I got them under the sheets and I held them really tight, and I said, everything that matters is under this sheet. Everything that matters.
What matters is you have it all under the sheet. It's so fucking true. Can you give us any tidbits on the newest, or it's too soon?
Oh my God, this new book is kicking my ass, man. Each one is so different. It's like having 3 different children. It really is. It's like it's the same parents every time, and yet they are 3 different human beings. And book 3 is like, wow, it's its own thing. It's period. It's set between the wars. It's about a young woman who becomes a writer even though she doesn't really want to, because she meets Virginia Woolf. It's a comedy.
Listen.
That's a scoop. You heard it here first.
This is a scoop. Thank you so much for sharing that, because sometimes when I'm mid-project, I don't like to talk about it. But I will tell you the title of my latest. It's called Anticlimactic. And the tagline is, she's lost her youth, her job, and her orgasm, but it's not all bad. But thank you so much. I adore you. And one of the things, I'll tell you one of the lies that My Vagina has told me with regards to people that I fucking adore. I think when women don't have kids and their friends go off and have a family and you'll just keep birthing puppies, you think, oh, we won't still have all this stuff in common because they're going to make these amazing humans. And I think I did that. I stepped back a bit because you were in family mode, and I was still, I don't know what I was traveling the world doing crazy things, but I have, as I've told you, I have missed you, that you are just always been so, so dear to my heart. And I follow your career and your literary career. I mean, I'm not surprised by it because you were always so brilliant, but it's surprisingly brilliant. Like how great these books are that I, with very, very busy, small attention span, especially in the last few years, I couldn't put these books down. I bought a special light because I love the tub. I bought my special light, and your book is very waterlogged. I'm so sorry. I will buy myself a new copy.
I love
But everybody run out to get this book, April 7th, Wifehouse, by the brilliant and amazing Sonya Walger. Is there nothing you can't do, my friend?
So many things, but thank you. Thank you for all of it. Thank you for reading. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for being such a loyal and supportive friend. And thank you for making this fucking hilarious podcast that I look forward to every week.
Thank you so much. My guest that is airing this week is the 14-time nude tennis champion of the world. I tried to get Halle Berry, but sometimes it's better when you don't. We are having fun, and thank you for teaching me how to put all these stories into a book, because that's what this little experiment was about. And you made this so easy, and thank you. And I will be there at your book signing.
Thank you.
I will not fucking miss it. And I cannot tell my audience enough what a wonderful, brilliant, compelling writer and person and actress. And I'm glad the funny is coming, because you funny as shit, lady. You were funny in space and you're funny here. Thank you so much. You made this easy. I was so nervous because I wanted to do a fucking good job for you.
You killed it, darling. You killed it. It's great. You're so good at this. You're so good at this. You really, really are. And I really mean it.
Lessons in life, love, arithmetic, and literature. I can't thank you enough. I will see you on April
8th at Diesel. Yeah.
8th at Diesel for your book reading. I love you. Thank you for coming on. It's a treat for everybody. Kisses, kisses, kisses.
Thank you, darling.
Lies My Vagina Told Me is hosted by moi, Brigitte Bako, produced by Jacques Telemaque and Leah Sherman, artwork by Leah Sherman, theme and original music by Jack Moore for balletguitar.com. See you next time on Lies My Vagina Told Me.